Okay, so you're going for that architecture lecturer position,
That's awesome.
which means you're not just into like blueprints and buildings. You're ready to shape the minds that'll design the
Yeah,
future.
exactly.
And we've got a stack of RoleCatcher guides here, from career overviews to interview tips. Uh, think of this as your toolkit for absolutely acing that interview.
Yeah, it's a multifaceted role,
Hmm?
blending teaching, research, mentorship. So today we're going to kind of decode the core demands of this position and then dive deep into some common interview questions to help equip you with some insightful and compelling responses.
And you know what I think is so cool about RoleCatcher? Is they've even got this AI that helps tailor your answers and gives you feedback, all customized for the specific job that you're going after. We'll touch on that a little bit later. But first, let's tackle those interview questions head on.
Sounds good. Let's jump right in with a classic opener. Describe your experience teaching architecture courses.
Now, me personally, I might be tempted to just list out all the courses I've taught, but I'm guessing they're looking for more than just a course catalog, right?
Yeah, you're spot on. Instead of just listing courses, you really want to bring your teaching style to life. Did you use a hands-on studio-based approach? Did you encourage collaborative projects or focus on design critiques?
Yeah.
This is your chance to really showcase what makes you a standout educator.
So instead of just saying, I taught architectural design 101,
Yeah.
I might say, in architectural design 101, I fostered a collaborative learning environment where students tackled real-world design challenges.
Exactly. And don't forget to sprinkle in specific examples that highlight your impact. Did your teaching methods lead to any aha moments for students? Did your guidance help them overcome a particular design obstacle? These details will really paint a vivid picture of your teaching prowess.
Oh, this is already making me rethink how I would approach these questions. And speaking of challenges, what if they ask a follow-up question? Like, can you give me an example of a time you had to adapt your teaching style to meet the needs of a diverse group of students?
That's a fantastic question, and one you should absolutely be ready for. Diversity and inclusivity are really paramount in education today. So the interviewer wants to see that you're not just a skilled architect, but also an adaptable and inclusive educator.
So it's about showcasing my ability to create a learning environment where everyone feels welcomed and supported. And I bet having a concrete example of how I did this in the past would really hit home, right?
Precisely. Maybe you had a student with a learning disability, and you found creative ways to present the material. Or perhaps you facilitated a class discussion that respectfully addressed diverse perspectives. On a controversial architectural topic, be ready with the story. That highlights your flexibility and commitment to inclusive education.
Okay, this is making me realize how much goes into preparing for these interviews. What's the next question on the list?
All right, this one aims to gauge your commitment to the field. How do you stay up to date with architectural trends and developments?
Okay, so I can't just say, I read Architectural Digest, right?
Well, while staying current is important, they're really digging deeper here. Think about conferences you've attended, workshops you've taken, even specific architects whose work you follow.
Maybe I could mention a recent conference on biophilic design. That sparked some innovative ideas for my teaching. Or talk about how I incorporate the latest sustainable building practices into my studio projects.
Exactly. And don't be shy about letting your enthusiasm shine through. Passion is contagious, and showing a genuine excitement about the ever-evolving world of architecture will make a really positive impression.
This is really helping me focus on what the interviewers are really looking for. Okay, what's next?
Let's get philosophical for a moment. What is your teaching philosophy?
Ooh, this one feels a bit more personal. It's not like there's a single right answer, is there?
You're right, there isn't a single correct teaching philosophy, but there are approaches that resonate more with specific institutions. So it's really crucial to understand the university's culture and values and ensure that your philosophy aligns with theirs.
So for instance, if the university emphasizes hands-on learning and interdisciplinary collaboration, my teaching philosophy should reflect those values.
Precisely. Do you believe in a student-centered approach, where you act as more of a guide rather than a lecturer? Do you value project-based learning, where students tackle real-world problems, articulate your core values, and explain how those values translate into your teaching methods?
I'm starting to see how important it is to be authentic here and genuinely reflect on my own teaching beliefs. This isn't just about regurgitating textbook answers, it's about conveying who I am as an educator. Okay, what's next?
This one's especially relevant in today's tech-driven world. How do you incorporate technology in your teaching?
Well, it's not just about drafting boards and slide rules anymore, that's for sure, but simply listing software programs probably won't cut it right.
You hit the nail on the head. The interviewer really wants to see how you're leveraging technology to enhance the learning experience. Think about VR simulations that let students virtually walk through their designs, or 3D printing that brings their concepts to life.
Or maybe I could talk about how I use online collaboration platforms to facilitate group projects, or digital fabrication tools to teach students about advanced construction techniques.
Those are excellent examples. Remember, it's not about the technology itself. It's about how you're using it to deepen understanding, foster creativity, and prepare students for the future of architecture.
I'm already seeing how these tips can help me craft more thoughtful and impactful responses. What else should I be prepared for?
This next question often trips people up. What is your approach to grading and assessment?
Oh yeah, the dreaded grading question. I guess it's not just about slapping a letter grade on a project and calling it a day, right?
Exactly. The interviewer wants to understand how you use assessment to guide student learning and growth. Do you believe in providing detailed feedback? That helps students improve. Do you incorporate self-assessment or peer review to encourage critical thinking?
Maybe I could talk about how I use a combination of design critiques, written feedback, and one-on-one conferences to provide personalized guidance to each student, or how I encourage students to reflect on their own work and identify areas for improvement.
Excellent. You're demonstrating a thoughtful and nuanced approach to assessment, which shows that you're invested in helping students develop their skills and reach their full potential.
This is really helpful. It's like you're peeling back the layers of what the interviewers are really looking for. What else is on our list?
Let's tackle another tech-focused question that often comes up. Describe your experience with architectural software, such as BIM and CAD.
Right, this is where my technical skills come into play. But I'm guessing they're looking for more than just a list of software programs I've used.
You're absolutely right. They want to see how you've applied those skills in real-world settings. Think about specific projects you've worked on, where you've utilized BIM or CAD software.
So I could talk about how I use Revit to create a detailed 3D model of a sustainable residential building during a previous internship, or how I used AutoCAD to develop construction drawings for a community center renovation project.
Precisely. The more specific and concrete your examples, the better. And don't hesitate to mention any advanced features or techniques you've mastered, such as parametric modeling or energy analysis tools.
This is really making me think about how to showcase my technical expertise in a way that's relevant and engaging for the interviewers.
Yeah.
Okay, hit me with another question.
Let's shift gears slightly and talk about your teaching experience with a question like this. Describe the time you had to explain a complex architectural concept to a student who was struggling to understand it.
Ah yes, the art of making complex ideas accessible. I bet this question is all about showing my ability to break down challenging concepts and tailor my teaching to different learning styles.
You got it. They want to see that you're patient, adaptable, and able to meet students where they are. Think back to a time when you had to get creative with your teaching methods. Maybe you used analogies, visual aids, or hands-on exercises to help a student grasp a difficult concept.
I remember a time when I was teaching about structural loads, and a student was having trouble visualizing how forces are distributed through a building. So I created a simple model using popsicle sticks and rubber bands to demonstrate the concept in a more tangible way.
That's a fantastic example. It shows that you're not just a lecturer, but a creative problem solver who's willing to go the extra mile to ensure your students succeed.
This is really giving me confidence. What else should I be prepared for?
Let's dive into a scenario-based question that often comes up. Imagine you have a student who is consistently underperforming in your class. How would you approach this situation?
This is a tough one. It's about showing that I care about student success, but also that I have clear expectations and strategies for addressing challenges.
Exactly. First and foremost, you want to convey empathy and a genuine desire to help the student improve, but you also need to demonstrate that you have a structured approach to addressing the situation.
Maybe I could talk about how I'd start by scheduling a one-on-one meeting with the student to discuss their challenges and identify any underlying issues. Then I'd create a personalized plan for improvement, which might involve extra tutoring sessions, modified assignments, or connecting them with additional resources.
That's a great start. It shows that you're proactive, supportive, and committed to finding solutions that work for each student. You could also mention the importance of clear communication with both the student and their parents or guardians, especially if the situation involves academic probation or other serious concerns.
This is making me realize that being an architecture lecturer is about so much more than just teaching technical skills. It's about mentoring, guiding, and supporting students on their academic journey.
That's a profound insight. It's about nurturing their passion for architecture, fostering their critical thinking skills, and preparing them for the challenges and rewards of the profession.
This has been incredibly helpful. Starting to feel much more prepared for that interview. But before we move on, can we take a quick detour and talk about RoleCatcher's AI? I'm still curious about how that can help me tailor my answers to these specific questions.
Of course, that's one of the most valuable aspects of their platform. It's like having a personalized interview coach right at your fingertips.
So how does it work? Can it really analyze my responses and give me feedback that's specific to the job I'm applying for?
It can. It's pretty amazing, actually. You can type or paste your answers into their AI tool, and it will assess them
Huh.
based on the specific keywords, skills, and qualities mentioned in the job description.
Wow, so it's not just generic feedback. It's tailored to the nuances of the role and the employer's expectations. That's incredible.
Exactly. It can help you identify areas where your answers might be too vague or repetitive, suggest stronger wording or examples, and even point out things you might have overlooked.
So it can help me refine my responses and make them more impactful and memorable.
Precisely. And it can even analyze practice videos, giving you feedback on your delivery body language and overall presentation.
Wait, really? I can record myself answering these questions
Yeah.
and get feedback on how I'm coming across.
That's right. It's like having a virtual mock interview with an expert who can provide personalized insights to help you refine your interview skills.
This is blowing my mind. It's like having access to a team of career coaches, all rolled into one platform.
It's truly a game changer for interview preparation. And the best part is, RoleCatcher offers a free version of their platform, so you can try out these AI features and see the benefits for yourself.
Okay, I'm definitely signing up for RoleCatcher tonight. This is exactly the kind of edge I need to stand out in the competitive world of academic job applications.
I think you'll be impressed. Their resources are truly top-notch. But remember, while AI can be a powerful tool, it's still crucial to put in the work and prepare thoroughly.
Absolutely. It's about using the AI to enhance my preparation, not replace it entirely. Okay, I'm ready to dive into the next set of interview questions. What else does RoleCatcher have in store for us?
Let's move beyond the technical aspects and explore questions that delve into your teaching style and approach to student engagement. Are you ready to continue?
Absolutely. Bring on the challenge.
All right, let's kick off this section with a question that really focuses on your interpersonal skills. Describe a time you had to give constructive criticism to a student.
Ooh, that's a delicate one. Architecture is a very personal field, so critique has to be handled thoughtfully, right?
Exactly. They're not looking for someone who tears students down. You really want to highlight your ability to provide feedback that's both honest and encouraging, focusing on growth rather than just pointing out flaws.
So if I were to share an example, it should be about how I helped a student improve through critique, not just how I pointed out their mistakes.
Precisely. Maybe you guided a student to rethink a structural element that wasn't quite working, and they ended up with a much stronger design as a result. Or perhaps you helped a student refine their presentation skills so they could confidently communicate their design ideas.
I see what you mean. It's about framing critique as a collaborative process that leads to positive outcomes.
Exactly. And remember to highlight specific techniques you use when giving feedback. Do you focus on open-ended questions? Do you encourage peer review? These details demonstrate your commitment to fostering a supportive and growth-oriented learning environment.
This is really helpful. I'm starting to see how even seemingly straightforward questions can have these hidden depths. Okay, what's next?
Let's look at a question that gauges your understanding of the wider educational landscape. How do you stay informed about current trends in architectural education?
Okay, so this goes beyond just knowing the latest architectural styles or software programs. It's about understanding how architectural education itself is evolving.
Precisely, they want to see that you're engaged. With the pedagogical side of the profession, are you familiar with new teaching methodologies? Do you follow the work of influential architectural educators?
So instead of just listing architectural journals, I might mention a recent article I read on incorporating virtual reality into design studios, or a seminar I attended on project-based learning.
Excellent examples. And don't forget to connect these trends back to your own teaching. How have these ideas influenced your approach? What innovations are you excited to implement in your own classroom?
This is making me realize that being an effective architecture lecturer requires a commitment to lifelong learning, not just within architecture itself, but also within the field of education.
Absolutely. The best educators are those who are constantly seeking new ways to improve their craft and inspire their students.
I'm ready for the next challenge. What else have we got?
Let's explore your leadership potential with this question. Describe a time you had to lead a team project.
Now, I haven't actually taught yet, but I've had leadership roles in group projects during my studies. Would those examples be relevant here?
Absolutely. Any experience where you've had to coordinate tasks, delegate responsibilities, or motivate a team is valuable. They want to see that you can foster collaboration and achieve shared goals.
So I could talk about that time I led a team in a design competition, outlining the strategies we used to divide the work, manage our time effectively, and ensure everyone's ideas were heard.
Perfect. And don't forget to highlight the outcomes of your leadership. Did your team win the competition? Did you successfully complete a complex project under budget and on schedule? These details demonstrate your ability to achieve tangible results.
I see what you mean. It's not just about talking the talk. It's about showing that I can walk the walk as a leader.
Exactly. And remember to reflect on the lessons you learned from that experience. Did you face any challenges? How did you overcome them? These insights demonstrate your self-awareness and your commitment to continuous improvement.
This is making me realize how much I've learned from those group projects, even beyond the architectural skills themselves. Okay, bring on the next question.
All right, let's get a little more personal with this one. What are your strengths and weaknesses as an educator?
Oh, the classic strengths and weaknesses question. I know I should be honest, but it's always tricky to talk about weaknesses without sounding weak.
You're right, it's a balancing act. But remember, everyone has areas they can improve upon. The key is to choose a weakness that you're actively working on and frame it as an opportunity for growth.
So instead of saying I'm a terrible public speaker, I might say I'm always working on refining my presentation skills, and I've recently joined Toastmasters to gain more experience speaking in front of groups.
Exactly. That shows that you're self-aware, proactive, and committed to continuous improvement. And when discussing your strengths, be specific and provide examples to back them up.
So I might say something like, one of my strengths is my ability to break down complex concepts and make them accessible to students of all levels. For example, when teaching about structural systems, I often use analogies and hands-on activities to help students visualize the forces at play.
Perfect. You're not just stating a strength, you're demonstrating it with a concrete example.
This is really helpful. I'm starting to feel like I have a much better grasp on how to approach these interview questions strategically.
That's great to hear. And remember, the interview is a two-way street. It's an opportunity for you to assess the institution as much as they're assessing you.
That's a good point. It's not just about getting the job, it's about finding the right fit.
Exactly. Speaking of finding the right fit, let's take a step back from these individual questions and consider a broader topic that might come up. Why are you interested in teaching at this particular institution?
The why us question. This is where I need to do my homework and show that I've researched the university and understand its unique strengths and values.
Right. You're spot on. They want to know that you're not just applying for any architecture lecturer position, but that you're genuinely interested in joining their community.
So I might mention specific faculty members whose work I admire, unique programs or research centers that align with my interests, or even the university's commitment to sustainability or community engagement, if those values resonate with me.
Excellent. The more specific and tailored your answer, the better. It shows that you've taken the time to understand what makes this institution special and how you could contribute to its mission.
This is making me realize that the interview is not just a test. It's an opportunity to showcase my passion for architecture, my teaching philosophy, and my vision for the future of the field.
That's a wonderful way to put it. And remember, your enthusiasm and genuine interest will shine through if you're truly excited about the prospect of joining their team.
I'm feeling energized and ready to tackle whatever questions they throw my way. But before we dive into the next round, can we touch on RoleCatcher's AI features again? I'm curious how it can help me specifically tailor my answers to this why us question.
Absolutely. The AI tool can be incredibly helpful here. It can analyze the university's website mission statement and faculty profiles to identify key themes and values that you can then incorporate into your response.
So it's like having a research assistant who helps me uncover those hidden gems that might not be immediately obvious.
Exactly. It can also analyze your answer and suggest additional points to emphasize or examples to include, ensuring that your response is both comprehensive and compelling.
This is really starting to sound like an indispensable tool.
It truly is. And remember, you can use it to practice your answers as many times as you need. refining your responses until you feel confident and prepared, to articulate your value proposition to the institution.
This is giving me a serious edge.
Okay.
I'm eager to hear what other interview gems RoleCatcher has in store for us. What's next on the list?
Okay, let's delve into a question that really explores your understanding of student needs. How do you identify and address the different learning styles of your students?
This is an important one. Not all students learn in the same way. And, recognizing those differences can make a huge impact on their success.
Precisely. They want to see that you're not a one-size-fits-all educator, but rather someone who's adaptable and can tailor their teaching to meet those individual needs.
So I could talk about different learning styles, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and how I incorporate a variety of teaching methods to cater to those differences.
Excellent. Provide specific examples. Do you use visual aids like diagrams and models for visual learners? Do you incorporate group discussions and presentations for auditory learners? How about hands-on activities and design charts for kinesthetic learners?
I see what you mean. It's about showing that I've considered these different learning styles and have a toolkit of strategies ready to go.
Exactly. And don't forget to mention how you assess and adjust your approach based on student feedback. Do you use surveys or informal check-ins to gauge how students are responding to your teaching methods? This demonstrates a commitment to ongoing reflection and improvement.
This is really making me think about how I can create a more inclusive and engaging learning environment for all students. Okay, what's next?
Let's tackle a question that often surfaces towards the end of the interview. Do you have any questions for us?
Now, I know this isn't just a formality. It's my chance to show that I'm genuinely interested and have been paying attention throughout the conversation.
Absolutely. Asking thoughtful questions demonstrates your curiosity, your engagement, and your desire to learn more about the institution and the role.
So instead of just asking about salary and benefits, I should prepare some questions that dig a little deeper. Maybe I could ask about the department's research priorities, or inquire about opportunities for interdisciplinary collaboration.
Those are great examples. You could also ask about professional development opportunities, mentoring programs for new faculty, or even the department's culture and values.
I see what you mean. It's about showing that I'm thinking long-term and considering how this position fits into my overall career goals.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask follow-up questions based on the information they provide. This shows that you're an active listener and genuinely interested in the conversation.
This is really helpful. I'm starting to see how those final few minutes of the interview can make a lasting impression.
Absolutely. They can solidify your candidacy and leave them with a positive image of you as a thoughtful and engaged individual.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today, and I'm feeling much more prepared for that architecture lecture interview. But before we wrap up, can we touch on one more thing? RoleCatcher emphasized the importance of tailoring your application materials to each specific job you're applying for. How can their AI help with that?
That's a fantastic point. And it's where RoleCatcher's AI truly shines. It can analyze job descriptions and identify the keywords, skills, and experiences that employers are prioritizing.
So it can help me make sure my resume and cover letter are hitting all the right notes and highlighting the qualifications that are most relevant to each specific role.
Exactly. It's like having a personal assistant who scans those lengthy job descriptions and extracts the essential information you need to craft a compelling and targeted application.
I see how that can save a lot of time and ensure that I'm presenting myself in the best possible light.
Precisely. And remember, it's not just about stuffing your application with keywords. It's about strategically showcasing your skills and experiences in a way that aligns with the employer's needs and priorities.
This is really making me rethink my approach to job applications. I'm used to sending out a generic resume and cover letter, but now I see the value in tailoring each one to the specific role.
It can make all the difference in a competitive job market, and RoleCatcher's AI tools can help you make that process more efficient and effective.
Well, this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into the world of architecture lecture interviews. I feel like I've gained valuable knowledge and practical strategies that will help me approach these interviews with confidence.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you. Remember, the key to success is preparation, authenticity, and a genuine passion for shaping the next generation of architects.
And don't forget the power of RoleCatcher's AI to help you refine your application materials, practice your interview skills, and ultimately land that dream job.
Indeed. We wish you the best of luck in your job search and future career as an architecture lecturer.
Remember, you're not just building a career, you're building the future of architecture. So go out there, make it amazing.